Imagine you're stuck like this. Brrrr, a little push and voila, you can reverse and leave. And imagine you're executing a docking approach and you missed your turn by just a tiny bit. Brrrr, fixed. Bow thrusters can help you get out of sticky situations. They can save you money on damages, yet they are still considered a taboo amongst many skippers and sailing instructors. So let's talk about the bow thrusters. What are they, when and how you should use them, and I also want to talk about why they have such bad reputation amongst the posh sailing community. So let's talk about it. What are the bow thrusters? Bow thrusters are a sideway propeller located at the bow of the boat that can give you an instant push either to the left or to the right. Some bow thrusters are permanently installed in place, like in a hole that you have at the bow of the boat, and some of them are foldable for performances purposes. You press the left button, the bow goes to the left. You press the right button, the bow goes to the right. Amazing tool, right? Why not use it all the time and just spin in place? Who needs docking practice when you can just press a button, right? This is where we touch our first point. Essentially, the bow thruster is an electric motor. An electric motor that does use a lot of power because it needs to propel you through the water, right? A lot of resistance. And it runs on 12 or 24 volts batteries. And if you use it long enough, you would either trip the protection that's supposed to have or drain the batteries completely. And then you are left in a sticky situation with a tool you were so reliant on that doesn't work anymore. And this is what makes the bow thruster so controversial. Because let's face it, the modern day bareboat charter skipper isn't that confident. The requirements for a day skipper license aren't that much. So people don't get to practice enough docking to fully build confidence. So what do? We get an overabuse of this tool, which reflects on bad docking techniques. And now we've created this tear in the skipper community. We have two camps, the first camp of the bow thruster users and overabusers, and the camp of the posh sailing community that claims that they have never used the bow thrusters and they will never ever use a bow thruster, and whoever uses a bow thruster is a complete loser. Relax, people, breathe. Peace can be restored in the sailing community. So let me explain to you when and how to use the bow thrusters so that peace can be restored amongst the sailing community. But first, a word from our sponsor. It's me! I'm the sponsor of this video! And I want to tell you about my courses. I'm currently working on a charter preparation kit, which is going to have in-depth full videos of everything you need to know before your charter vacation, from provisioning to the docking to the sailing to how to choose a bay at night. And it's not just going to be my full-on video course, it's also going to have a testing system inside of it. A testing system that is designed to accept multiple answer and open question. Because you see, the testing process is such an important part of your learning. If you don't sit down to reflect about what you've learned without any help, you won't fully understand stuff. So this is why I've built this system, to engage you in a different scenarios so that we can work on it in the theory base, so that later on when you're practicing it in a practical environment, things will make more sense because you already drilled it in your head a little bit. On top of that, I've got my practical courses in Croatia that will boost your confidence, because we're going to practice and give feedback and give you time on the helm to fully engage in this. Okay, I'm the captain, what do I need to do? Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, like, share and subscribe, share it with your friends, because your support is truly what keeps this video content going. So I thank you very much, and now let's go back and jump into when and how you should use your bow thrusters. Use case number 1, docking. So I really hope that before you do a dock approach, you're visualizing the process in your head. Now, if at any point in that visualization process you're thinking, okay, at this point I'm going to use the thrusters, you're probably doing it wrong. There's probably a way for you to do that approach without the need to use the bow thruster. You want to do your approach in one beautiful motion, keeping your original momentum all the way till the end when you need to stop on the dock. If at any point you notice that your turning is bad, either go out and do it again, or use the bow thrusters in small bursts of 2 to 3, 2 to 5 seconds to fix your position. The amount of time you press the buttons really depends on the boat and the size of your thrusters, but usually 2 to 3 seconds is enough for you to gain that push and not completely drain your batteries or trip the protection. Use case 2, sticky situations, shit shows as I like to call them. If, just like in this example, you manage to get an anchor chain next to your propeller or you have a mooring line stuck there, you can use the bow thrusters to get out of the sticky situation, to give you a little push to clear the engine so that you can use them and escape. Now, if you're doing this and you're trying to use the bow thrusters to resist the wind, it might fail. The bow thrusters sometimes are not as strong as having a moderate wind pushing you. It's better, if you can, to use the bow thrusters to push yourself with the wind so that you can clear. Use case 3, springing. Now, springing is the act of using the engines against a line to pivot the boat in your favor for a really sexy docking. Now, if you sprinkle some bow thrusters on top of it, it can help ease the process by reducing the amount of power you need to use on the engine and to speed up the process a little bit. For example, in this case where I'm trying to leave the dock in 30 knots of crosswinds, don't really need to use the bow thrusters. I can just add a little bit more engine power and the boat will go upwind as I wanted. But I added a little bit of bow thruster to ease the tension on the cleats and the line and not use that much engine power as I would need if I didn't use the bow thrusters. Use case number 4, emergencies, the big shit shows. A scary gust of wind is about to push you towards the rocks or you just missed your man overboard. This is where a prolonged use of the bow thrusters might save your day. Now again, don't over abuse it because you will fry the fuse and then you don't have thrusters. And one more thing, if you are using it in a man overboard situations, just please be mindful to not bow thruster wrap your man overboard. The don'ts. Do not use it when there are people nearby the propellers. Not just people, also lines, mooring ball lines, mooring lines and all this kind of stuff, because prop wraps on a bow thrusters happen, and when they happen, they usually also break the little propellers inside it. And another thing, if it's a foldable bow thrusters, make sure to close it before you go out sailing, because if it stays open when you're cruising, it will get stuck. Use the thrusters to get out of sticky situations. Don't be fully reliant on them, and definitely don't over abuse them to compensate for your shitty docking techniques. Improve your docking techniques and use the thruster, for that extra little bit of laziness. It's a great tool and you should use all the tools in your power to make life easier and safer on the water. Thank you for watching this video. Again, check all the links below to hear about my online courses and my practical courses that build confidence and cover all the aspects, or at least I try to cover all the aspects. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.